down, and all my soul so weary.
When troubles come and my heart burden be,
and I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger.
each restless heart beats so imperfectly.
When you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Good evening, parents, families, friends, faculty, and students. Welcome to the Village SDA 2017 8th grade graduation. Thank you for coming and supporting us on this special occasion. We hope you'll be blessed by the program tonight. The Village School has been a big influence in many of our lives. I personally have attended the Village School since the 4th grade. In those 5 years, I have had a lot of learning experiences from the teachers and staff that are the best. I would like to thank all the teachers that have been a part of our education and supported us through the years. Our 8th grade teacher, Mr. Martin and Mr. Davison, have been outstanding, and I'd like to say a little bit about them, mainly because Mr. Davison is leaving and Mr. Martin is semi-retiring after 40 years as an elementary teacher. Mr. Davison, it hurts me to say goodbye. We will really miss seeing you, and we will always remember you. The one thing that I will remember about 8th grade is your science class. I think all my classmates will agree that the 3-page double-sided notes were a little extensive, but your enthusiasm for science was always evident, and hopefully a little bit of it rubbed off on us. Thank you for making our 7th and 8th grade years fabulous. Then there's Mr. Martin, our 8th grade teacher. The class of 2017 owes it to you, Mr. Martin. The thing that many of us remember most about 8th grade is your infamous Bible class. If we were embarrassed talking to the opposite gender before, well, we aren't now. You worked that right out of us. By the end of the year, you had us talking level-headed without going beet red when discussing relationship boundaries. More importantly, you taught us all about salvation and how we are saved. I'm really glad that you're going to teach a few classes next year. You're an amazing teacher, and we really appreciate all your years of dedication and instruction. Now I would like to mention my class. Guys, I have a couple things to say. When I first stepped foot into the 4th grade, I was kind of scared. Coming from a one-room school, I had no idea what it would be like. One of the major things I saw was that all you guys loved God. You were kind to each other and very unselfish. It felt like a family. You included me in your circle, always letting me get in on the fun or letting me try something that I'd never done before. That is the kind of school I am proud to be part of. Thanks for making these past 5 years so great. Finally, I want to encourage us to stay close to the Lord. Always be working to further your relationship with Him. And if you're faced with hard times, don't forget our class verse, Joshua 1:9. God will always be with you and give you strength. I'm looking forward to high school with you, and I hope we can all stay in touch. Thank you for a very good 8th grade year.
Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Although the job of a teacher is to educate, they teach much more than subjects like math, science, and social studies. These are just a few of the things that the class of 2017 remembers from each teacher over the years.
Mrs. Finkbeiner, we'll always remember watching movies, playing with Legos, having fun Sabbath celebrations, and playing in the playhouse. And these are just the few things that come to mind when we think of kindergarten. You taught us how to count to 100. Although we only had you for a little while, we enjoyed the time we got to spend in your classroom. You always had a bright smile every morning when we walked in.
Mrs. Stevenson, we remember how you made sure we stayed healthy by having some time for exercise each morning and teaching us how to make tasty food. We'll always remember learning about endangered animals and having time math worksheets that we thought were very hard. You always had your stopwatch ready, even at lunch.
Mrs. Ferson, we'll always remember playing with Sasha on Fridays when you brought her in, Monkey Day, and the fire in the bathroom, which led to us having many field trips. You were always cheerful and happy, and still are whenever we see you around school. Whenever we couldn't go to recess because it was raining, you'd always cheer us up by pulling out some board games to play from the closet.
Mrs. Riker, we'll always remember earning piggy points, reading week, how you held a tea party for us and gave us British chocolate, and when we got messy making our mini globes. You helped us learn about Native American culture. When we wrote our little books, you loved them, no matter how strange they actually looked. We had fun in the loft and on the awesome field trip to the Science Museum in Chicago.
Mrs. Burke, although we only had you for one class, we remember how you gave us fruit and nuts to go along with the book that we were reading. You had comfy chairs in the library and knew how to throw good parties. You played trash ball with us and showed us how to find stars and twigs.
Mrs. Crick, we remember making birds for achievement night, learning lots about animals and nature, and having a dragon in the classroom. You gave us popcorn and brought us on a field trip to the dunes. We remember watching Little Rascals, doing all the fun art projects, and chewing gum during the Iowa tests. Mr. Swack, we look back on pizza parties, a field trip to Battle Creek, memorizing the major muscles and bones in the body, learning the flea song, and learning about the ancient world when we think of 6th grade. You're an amazing math teacher and PE teacher.
Mr. Davison, we'll remember how you always, when you apologized for shouting at us and when you didn't even shout. You let us plan our field trip to the aquarium in Chicago and told us weird stories like Roach-mageddon and how you and your friends went looking for sharks. We'll always laugh at how you would threaten to give us a name and check on your sticky note, only to later throw it in the trash when you thought we weren't looking.
Mr. Martin, you gave us candy, patrolled the hallways, gave us money, and played ping pong with us. You were never hesitant to remind us how our parents are paying thousands of dollars to this school when we did bad in history class. We'll always remember how you made sure we understood what we were learning. Your creepy Christmas tree, eliminators, and the class trip to Kalahari are just a few of the awesome things you remember about 8th grade.
Mr. Cruz, you always encouraged us in music, even though we weren't very good. And we were always grateful when you called us to band lessons because it meant we could get out of regular class. You never raised your voice, even when we got a bit wild in the class.
Mr. Kalita, we'll always remember all our tech projects, how you would complain about how we were always complaining, and how you'd always try to biggity burn us. You always told bad jokes and would try to jump scare us in the hallways, but we still loved you.
Mrs. Curry, you let us raise chickens in the classroom and had fun literature lovers' lunches when we finished certain books. We'll always remember listening to Adventures in Odyssey and your love for animals and Watermelon Day. Thank you, teachers at VAS, for making these years very memorable.
We have seen the pain that shaped our hearts, and in our shame we're still breathing, 'cause we have seen the hopes of your healing rising from our souls. Oh, it's the feeling we are drawing close, your light is shining through. So wake up, wake up, wake up, all you sleepers stand up. Oh, stand up, stand up, all you dreamers hands up. Oh, hands up, all believers take up your cries, carry it on. Oh, that you reveal with eye and nuts will come to life and start breathing, 'cause we have seen the hope of your healing rising from our souls. Oh, it's the feeling we are drawing close, your light is shining through. Oh, oh. So wake up, wake up, wake up, all you sleepers stand up. Oh, stand up, all you dreamers hands up. Oh, hands up, all believers take up your cries, carry it on.
Here we stand, our hearts are yours, not our will, but yours be done. Oh, here we stand, our hearts are yours,
Our hearts
not
are
our will, but yours be done. Oh,
Here we
stand, our hearts are yours,
Our hearts
not
are
our will, but
yours.
yours be done. Oh, here we stand,
Our hearts
not
are
our will, but yours be done.
So wake up, wake up, wake up, all you sleepers stand up. Oh, stand up, all you dreamers hands up. Oh, hands up, all believers take up your cries, carry it on. So wake up, wake up, wake up, all you sleepers stand up. Oh, stand up, all you dreamers hands up. Oh, hands up, all believers take up your cries.
Carry it on. Here we stand, our hearts are yours, not our will, but yours be done. Oh, here we stand, our hearts are yours,
Our
not
hearts
our
are
will, but yours be done. Oh, here we stand, our hearts are yours, saw the light fade from the sky. On the wind I heard a sigh as the snowflakes cover my fallen brother. I will sing this last goodbye. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over hills and under trees, through lands where never light is shown. My silver stream that runs down to the sea. Under clouds, beneath the stars, over snow on winter's morn, I turn at last to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. Many places I have been, many sorrows I have seen, but I don't regret, nor will I forget all who took that road with me. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over hills and under trees, through lands where never light is shown. My silver stream that runs down to the sea. To these memories I will go, with your blessing I will go, to turn at last to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. I bid you all a very fond farewell.
At this time in the program, each graduate will individually thank their parents for all that they have done for them. After each graduate gives their tribute, they will present their mother with a rose.
The rose represents the love and appreciation we have for our parents. Parents, please stand once your child is called.
Sophia Udry.
Dear Mom and Dad, there are so many ways that you make a difference in my life that this letter probably won't cover it all. You have both taught me how important it is to live the life of a Christian and to put God first. Dad, you are always the best to joke around with and can enjoy a good laugh. From our similar tastes in movies to our completely opposite tastes in food, the good times we've had go back years. The fun we've had in all of our family travels will be almost impossible to match. You have made such a difference in my spiritual life. I don't know how many people I know that have been baptized by their dad. You always teach me right from wrong, and when I mess up, I always seem to get another chance, even when I don't deserve one. Mom, you have taught me so many lessons in life that I will never be able to forget. You are forgiving, patient, and caring. Thank you for always taking care of me when I'm sick and for teaching me different skills and important values. You've even taught me my babysitting skills by putting me in charge of all the little kids when we get together with our cousins. After so many years of moving around to different cities and now to a different country, you always look for ways to make it feel like home. There are endless reasons why I'm thankful to have you two as my parents. Your selfless attitudes show the type of person I want to be. You mean the world to me, and I love you both more than you could ever know.
Ethan Lubert.
Mom, I don't know how you did it. All the years you had to go through teaching me right from wrong, good from bad, I don't know. I love you more than you'll ever know. Thank you for drawing me closer to our friend Jesus Christ. Thank you for being there in the tough situations, and above all, thank you for being Mom. Dad, I don't know what to say. All the lessons you've taught me have played a great role in my life and helped me a great deal. I love you more than you can ever imagine. I admire the way you are always there when I need help or advice, even when I'm mad about something. I love the fun things you do with me and my siblings, like hunting, fishing, and baseball. Thank you for teaching me to be a man, and thank you for being Dad. I love you both.
Nick Straw.
Mom, thank you for always being with me, especially during my time in need. I've been going through a lot, and you are the one person that has been able to keep me sane. Well, somewhat. You have always been around when I need you, even if I'm starving at 2 a.m. after you just got back from working, and still take care of breakfast in the morning. You are the one person I can tell everything to. You've gotten me through so much. Thank you for trying to get me out of here to Berrien, to Germany, where I can be with you, and thank you for always being there with me. Grandma, you have filled the position of both my grandma and my dad in my life. You wake up early, wash the dishes in the morning while I'm getting ready, and then while you're trying to get ready, I've probably lost something, so you're helping me find it. Despite doing all of that, you still work pretty much the entire day, and sometimes you don't even make it home at night. But you still come out in the morning, every morning to pick me up for school. You are the hardest worker I've ever met, and someday I hope to be as strong as you are. Grandpa, another person that has taken care of me my entire life. You've basically been there whenever anyone needs you. You're strong and tough, but also kind and gentle. Anything that needs done, you are always there to help in the situation. Whether it's cooking, cleaning, cutting wood, or even building a room in our barn. You are always the first person in line to help. My mom, grandma, and grandpa have raised me my entire life. They have taken care of me and helped me through a lot of problems. Thank you. And Mom, hopefully I can join you soon in Germany.
Josiah Morrow.
Mom, thank you for being our family support team, whether it's making food or preparing lunches. Thank you for all the many small things you do to keep our family happy and healthy spiritually and physically. Dad, thank you for taking the time to teach me life skills. Whenever you are working on something, or even if it meant taking longer to do it, you always made sure that I understood how to fix it and what went wrong. Thank you for always doing your best to support our family. And most of all, thank you both for making God's presence known in our home and asking God how to make you better parents. Thank you for loving me and each other.
Kaylee Swackhammer.
Dear Mom and Dad, thank you for raising me in a loving Christian home and allowing me to have a life closer with God. Thanks for always sticking by me and encouraging me to do stuff that I thought I couldn't do. Mom, thank you for always supporting me in everything that I have done, such as homework and sports. You have always been there for me when I need someone to cheer me up or to talk to. Thank you for always being patient when I take forever to get ready in the morning to go to school. You are the best mom that I could ever ask for. Thanks for everything. I love you. Dad, thank you for always being there for me and helping me through tough situations. I can always count on you to make me smile whenever I feel mad or sad about anything. Thanks so much for helping me with math whenever I needed your help. But most of all, thanks for being the dad that you are. I love you.
Sebastian Wade.
Dear Mom and Dad, you guys are the coolest parents I could ever have. And trust me, I mean it. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys have so much patience with me and my sister. I know myself, I'm a lot to handle. Thanks for doing your maximum effort to make our lives better. Mom, you comfort me when I'm really sad and teach me how to cook. Thanks for being chill when I bring animals home. And for the fresh kicks you get me. Dear Dad, thanks for teaching me about life. Thanks for showing me how to take care of myself and showing me other nature stuff. You helped me study for history and school stuff. I'm thankful for that. Yeah. Thanks for taking me on those camping trips. Those are memories that I will never forget. Love you both.
Jerry Taylor.
Dear Mom, you have always been supporting me in everything I do and pushing me to do better, giving me food, clothes, food, and education, food, and more food. Believe me, there's a lot of food. Thank you for always being there for me, giving me advice, taking care of me when I was sick, getting me salsa at the store, and bringing me food from Taco Bell. Thank you also for working a ton so you can support us all. It means a lot to me. I would also like to thank you for placing me in an amazing Christian school and just keeping your sanity with 4 ridiculous children, especially me. I think you're the most awesomest mother in the world. You've taught me love, strength, patience, and also other things, most of all, to love God. Love you, Mom.
Sarah Hamstra. Dear Mom and Dad, I know I'm not the sappiest person, and neither are you guys, but thank you. You guys always do so much for my siblings and I, even when you're exhausted, which is pretty often. I know we can be frustrating. Thank you for sitting through my violin recitals and saying I sounded great, even though I usually didn't. I'll always be thankful for you bringing my siblings and I traveling. You always encouraged me to try new things, whether it was eating durian or going on a roller coaster. I usually take for granted everyday things, like how I have clothes that fit and there's food to eat every morning. I know there are people my age that don't even have a glass of water. I know you don't think I do enough around the house, and I probably don't. And I know I can be hard to live with sometimes, but you stuck by and helped me through everything. I want you to know that I'm grateful for everything you do for me, and I love you.
Lene Shaver.
Dear Mom and Dad, Mommy, I will never fully understand how you do what you do for us, and even though I complain a lot about everything, I'm secretly thankful for everything you do. Thank you for always being there for me when I'm going through something and I don't know who to talk to. Thank you for raising my siblings and I in a home filled with love, compassion, and most of all, God. Thank you for listening to Woody and I when we told you there was no food in the fridge, so you took us to Taco Bell. Thank you for getting me Chipotle because you know it's my favorite. And last but not least, thank you, Mommy, for always putting up with my friends asking if they can come over, because I know if I ask, the answer will be no. Daddy, I want to give you a special thanks for making all those long road trips back and forth to get us from Michigan to Ohio. Thank you for teaching us how to cook. Thank you for being the best dad you can be. I always enjoy going to the movies with you. Thank you for cooking really big dinners, even though I probably only ate one or two things out of the whole meal. Thank you for teaching us a basic life lesson. If you can't find a ride, you can't go. And last but not least, thank you for also raising us in a home with love, compassion, of God. I love you both with all my heart. Thank you.
Blake Shelley.
Dear Mom and Dad, there are numerous things you've done for me over my 14 years of life. Some I remember very well to this day. Here are just a few. Thank you, Mom, for always being there, like at a sporting event, always supporting me and comforting me when I lose. Thank you, Dad, for always being there to talk to, from something little like a game to when I'm going through a tough time. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to cook and bake. For example, like teaching me how to bake a cake, making bread, and all kinds of simple suppers. Thank you, Dad, for every now and then taking me out on a father-son night. From bowling to the golfing range, we always have a blast. Thank you, Mom, for all the small things you do. I don't think you realize how much the little things impact our lives. Taking me to school, picking me up, doing small chores around the house, cooking, and all those other things impact me and my brothers a lot, and I don't think you get enough credit for that. Thank you, Dad, for playing and teaching me sports of all kinds. I recall coming back from the end of a baseball season when you taught me how to throw a football, with a bit of a struggle if I remember correctly. Without you teaching me that, I would not be as good as a quarterback today, or maybe not one at all. Thank you both for being near-perfect examples of love and care. Thank you also for showing me that there is also someone up in heaven that loves me too. Thank you.
Rosa Ramos.
Dear Mom, you have taught me so many things that this letter probably won't cover it all. I think one of the most important things you've taught me was probably to fear God and always to put Him first. I know sometimes it's hard to deal with me, but I think you have done a great job. You worked so hard for me and I appreciate it. Yes, sometimes we argue, but we get over it together and that's all that matters. I want you to know that I love you with all my heart and I would never change a thing about you. I want you to always be a part of my family and that we always stay together. I'm really glad you're here tonight. Dear Dad, you have always been the cool parent, always taking me to my soccer games, teaching me new soccer skills, and always adding additional soccer practices to make my team better. You have practiced with me for such a long time that you're my lifelong coach. Thank you for teaching me about God and always taking me to church. Thank you for always supporting me in all I do. Thank you for all the things you have done for me. I love you.
Carlo Leonore.
Poppy, you have always been and still are a very hard worker, and I'm glad that you've made me one too. I appreciate that you have sacrificed almost all of your time so you can work and provide for us. I remember on one Sunday afternoon when we were getting our things ready for school the next day, I declared that I never wanted to go to school again and that weekends were never long enough. You looked at me and just grinned, thinking about what your dad would have done to you if you said something like that. But all you said was, "You think I want to go to work tomorrow? You should just be glad you're going to school instead of work." I thought about that for a while and then realized how much you do for us. You have always made your time with us fun, making each one of us feel special. There's never been a dull moment with you. When I say this, it makes it sound like you're never home, but I just want to let you know how much I appreciate your long hours of work, where you would get home and I would already be sleeping. I'm so glad to have you as my dad. You have definitely made my first 14 years of life ones to remember. Now, Mom, I'm not saying you haven't done equally as much, or maybe even more, but I know that you and my dad make an almost perfect team. I just want to start this off by saying I really don't know how you do it. with 3 boys all having extracurricular activities, where they are hour-long sports games or back-to-back music lessons. You don't get much of the glory for taking care of the kids, but I don't think most people, especially my brothers and I, realize how hard your work is. Mom, I want to thank you for doing all the many, many little things, even when you don't have the energy to do them. They might not seem like much, but they are, especially if you add all those things up. On top of all of that, you also have a job. You're like super mom. I just want to let you know how much you're appreciated by me. You're an amazing mother, and I'm glad that you are mine.
Ian Hildebrand.
Dear Mom and Dad, I will never be able to thank you enough for the incredible hardships you went through while raising me. Mom, you've always helped me and guided me when I needed it most. You always seem to know when I'm feeling down and how to make me feel better. Past arguments have taught me that even though I'm getting older, you are still much wiser than me and will be for a long time. Dad, it is hard to think that you work every day and still have time to spend with me. You are always eager to get my brother and I outside even after you went through a long day of work. You have taught me not only how to be a good sport, but also how to have a good attitude even when things aren't going my way. I have one thing to say to both of you. Thank you. Thank you for raising me these past years, from nursing me as a baby all the way to sending me through an amazing school. Looking back on my life, I could not have asked for anything more. My only question is, how? How were you able to put up with me? I surely would have gone insane trying to deal with my fits, arguments, selfishness, and bad attitudes. The stress you went through while raising me is truly incredible. You have done all this while at the same time helping me grow closer and closer to Jesus. Thank you for making the first 14 years of my life the best they could be.
James Giza.
Hello, Mom and Dad. I'm very thankful for all the years of dedication you've given to me. I know I can't make up for what you've done for me in the last 14 years, but I can at least show you how much I love you guys. Here are some things I'm very grateful for. Thank you, Mom, for being patient with my attitude, even when I act like a 5-year-old, which happens every now and then. Thank you, Dad, for being there for me. For example, when I was 3, you stayed in the hospital with me every day and night, even though you're at school. Thank you, Mom, for showing me your motherly love, which I may have just recently understood. For example, when you got up early and made me those lunches for my field trips, and even paid attention to the little things like putting peanut butter on both slices of the bread so the jelly can't make the bread soggy. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me on how to think strategically and build that desk with me. I still can remember standing there with you deciding how the desk would be built. I'm so thankful I have you two as my parents. You make me so proud because you are my parents. You two have been for me from kindergarten, even when I didn't want to go to school, until now, at the end of 8th grade, which I didn't ever want to miss a day of. I love you two, and I could never have gotten better parents. I love you.
Daniel Cruz.
Mom, I cannot even express how thankful I am for everything you have done for me, from always telling me to clean my room over and over to caring for me when I am sick. I know I sometimes take for granted the good things you do for me, but you always assure me that even though I sometimes might be quite mischievous, you always love me. Thank you for always teaching me right from wrong, which in the end brought me to be who I am today. Dad, thank you for always supporting me in everything I do, whether it be doing some boring yard work outside to playing basketball together. I can't even express how much I have learned from you, having you as a teacher, coach, and dad. Even though it can be quite confusing sometimes and frustrating, because I know you expect a lot from me. I look up to you a lot. If I could ever be like someone, it would be you. I'm proud to be your son. Love you both.
Anna Johnson.
Dad, thank you for letting me chase Justin around with frogs, fish, and a variety of worms when we were younger. Thank you for taking me hunting and teaching me how to fish and wrestle. Thank you for buying me hundreds of dollars worth of baking stuff and letting me spend countless hours in the kitchen making a huge mess. I will always remember the campfires you would make and the one year you got fireworks for my birthday. Thank you for building the Thumpertarium for my bunny and trying to get me into sports. In soccer, you always tried to make me pay more attention or told me to stop trying to kick the kid that kicked me first. Thank you for trying to teach me how to play baseball. I remember that really didn't go well. And you remember that week we spent when you tried to teach me to play football? That was even worse. Most of all, thank you for teaching me to have fun with everything I do. Mom, I have no clue how hard it is to be a mother, but I know being mine is a challenge. Gamma has said countless times that you are just like me, a pain. So thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for being with me through all of my tough times and for staying at the hospital with me, especially considering that I've gone so many times that they now know me by name. I will never forget the many sewing projects I've done for the fair and you hovering over my shoulder and telling me what to do. Thank you. I remember how you taught me to ride my bike. You took off the training wheels, then pushed me across the parking lot to the neighbor. Thank you for that. It taught me how to be a fully independent person, that sometimes pain is a good thing. Most of all, thank you for always letting me know it is okay to be a little immature and getting down in the mud and working hard will get me wherever I want to go.
Aaron Trotwine.
Mommy, I don't know how hard it is to be a mother, and it must be even harder because you have Ava, Ian, and me as your kids. You have always been there for me through tough times in my life and taken care of me when I'm sick. You have taught me so many important and useful life lessons. Thank you for sacrificing your time to teach me what's right from wrong and for always forgiving me when I make mistakes or do something wrong. You have taught me to be a somewhat mature and independent young woman. Daddy, from a young age, you always taught me that I can do anything. You just have to work hard to get there. You have also taught me how to save my money and not spend it on just anything. Thank you for always sacrificing your time to go and work to provide for us, even in bad weather, so that we can go to a Christian school. Thank you for putting up with a bunch of girls in the house when I have friends over, and for going to pick them up, even though I know you don't want to. Thank you both for all the small and big things you've done that might seem like nothing now, but will probably be useful in the future. I love you both more than you could ever know.
Bethany Maydall.
Mommy, you have done so much for Tyler and I. You have been there for me and supported me. You have believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. You have always encouraged me to do what I'm passionate about and have kept me on the path to reaching my goals. And you always know how to make me laugh when I am down. Thank you for supporting me when it comes to sports and bringing me to practices, especially for coming to my games when it's below 0 or above 100. Yes, I might be over-exaggerating a bit, but it's not too far from that. We may argue sometimes, and I can get mad at you, but I still love you and never stay mad at you for long. I'm sorry for all the times you had to deal with Tyler and I fighting, and for having to listen to me play the same song on the ukulele over and over again. I know this is a really classic thing to say, but thank you for putting a roof over my head and providing me with food, especially since it is hard when you have to do it as a single parent. But you still managed to put me through school and pay for all the extra things that I do, like sports and music. Thank you for being the best mom a girl can have. I love you more than words can say.
Eli Wilson.
My, you always somehow know when something is wrong with me, and I can always count on you if I want to talk about it. You always listen to all my crazy stories about times when I get into trouble with Mr. Martin, Mr. Swack, or Mr. Davison. I'm thankful for mornings where you remind me to brush my teeth and when you tell me if my outfit is way too weird. I appreciate when you would go on field trips with my class, so when I needed money or something, you were right there. And also, it was cool having you around. I admire you being a mom who works and goes to school. All my friends think you're awesome, and I'm glad they do, 'cause so do I. Dad, I appreciate all the work you do to provide for us. Ever since we moved here 5 years ago, you gave up going to work every day because you want us to go to a good Christian academy. So now you have to work from home every day and you don't get out too much. I would personally hate that a lot. I know when you get me in trouble, it is for my own good, even if it is 6 or 7 times in one day. I am surprised with all the patience you have sometimes when dealing with me. Thank you for giving me free, okay haircuts. Both of you have been there for me during my ups and downs and have provided for me a good life so far. Thanks.
Zoe Drew.
Dear Mom and Dad, you taught me to take the Bible literally. Well, as Jesus himself said, the last shall be first. You know I'm your favorite, and if you ever forget, just ask me, I'll tell you. Dad, I'm your favorite because each of my graduations is your graduation from paying that school, since I'm the last one. I am the ideal symbol of retirement. You're welcome. Mom, I'm your favorite because after perfecting your mothering skills on that long list of disappointments, you can finally be yourself and play and eat ice cream with me all day long. The coolest thing is when they say you're spoiling me. We both don't care. I love you both more than you know, and yeah, you're my favorites too. Happy graduation to you two, and thank you for all that you've done for me.
Brooke Scott. Dear Mom and Dad, thank you for always being those cool parents that everyone loves. I know I may not be the easiest daughter, but you guys handle me pretty well. Mom, I don't think I could ask for a better mom. You have always helped me with any hard things that I've gone through. I can always be so real with you. Thank you for helping me with my wardrobe malfunctions and taking me shopping. Thanks for teaching me the ropes of how to be a strong, independent woman. Also, I appreciate you taking me to all those horse shows and coaching girls on the run. Thanks for being the awesome mom you are. Dad, you have always been there for me when I need help with homework. Thanks for helping me with my basketball form and bank shots. Thanks for coaching Redbirds for the past 2 years and for going to those baseball games with me every year. Thank you for being the cool dad you are when all my friends come over, even though you embarrass me a little, which you purposely do. Thank you for being the best dad you could possibly be. Thank you both for being my superheroes and spiritual role models.
Tonight, the church could not be more proud of the graduates and their families and the accomplishments. Tonight is just a little snapshot of why the church continues to love and believe in our young people. And I'm sure you've noticed as you've listened to the words of the graduates that for many of them, if not all of them, tonight, as much as being a milestone in their academic lives, is a spiritual marker for the Christian education that they have received at the village school and from their parents. And for that reason, I've been asked to have the dedicatory prayer tonight. And I would like to ask the graduates, as well as the families that you are sitting with, to stand as I have the dedication prayer, if you'd stand at this time. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you as we have listened tonight for the road that you have brought us over, for being with us and for supporting us in the difficult times and the challenges and in the achievements and in the successes. You have been far better to us than we deserve. And tonight, as we have before, we give our lives completely into your hands, everything that we have and everything that we are. And in these times that we live, we pray for special grace upon these graduates as they go on from this to a new school and a new education, the next leg of their journey, that they would continue to see you working in their lives. And I pray that from among these graduates and from among this class, There would be those who would keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus until the end. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated.
My heart beats standing on the edge, but my feet have finally left the ledge. Like an acrobat, there's no turning back. I'm letting go of the life I've planned for me. In my dreams, losing control of my destiny. It feels like I'm falling, and that's what it's like to believe. So I'm letting go. This is a giant leap of faith. Trusting and trying to embrace the fear of the unknown, beyond my comfort zone. I'm letting go of the life I've planned for me. In my dreams, losing control of my destiny. It feels like I'm falling, and that's what it's like to believe. Feels like I'm letting go of the life I've planned for me. In my dream, losing control of my destiny. It feels like I'm falling, and that's what it's like to believe. It feels like I'm falling, and this is the life for me. So I'm letting go. It feels like I'm falling, and that's what it's like to believe. It feels like I'm falling, and this is a life for me.
We are proud to introduce tonight's speaker as a somewhat close friend of ours. We are honored to have been part of your first year class at VAES. I remember the times we asked for candy, but we didn't get any because you don't like candy. And let's not forget all the times I reset the timer so we could have a longer break.
Nonetheless, we will always cherish the memories we had of our new 7th grade teacher. We'll miss you while you're on vacation in California. We wish you and your fiance all the best and hope we made your 2 years at VAS fun. Please help me give a warm welcome to tonight's speaker, Mr. Davison.
Good evening, class of 2017. Good evening, Eli. I am very honored to be able to be here with you tonight and be able to give one last lesson for you, one last one. It's it's very important, this lesson is very important for me because of, well, it revolves around two of my favorite Bible stories. My favorite Bible stories are found in the book of Daniel, and they revolve around Daniel and his three friends. The fiery furnace and Daniel in the lion's den, these were always stories that really affected me as I was growing up. I thought that they were so cool how ordinary people could stand up to kings and stand up to fiery furnaces and lions, and I liked the Detroit Lions, and so that was cool when I was growing up too. But I always wanted to do, big things for God, and I thought that, it would be really cool if I could have an experience like that. And I want to leave you, I want to have you leave here tonight convinced that you can do the same. And I want to show you, before we begin, well, as we go through rather, I want to show you parallels that I see between you all and Daniel and his three friends. And I think that as we go through, you'll see some parallels between their story and your upcoming story. Now, as a disclaimer before we get into this, we're going to go through some parallels, and as I was preparing for this, I realized I could go through like 10 parallels between the story, but don't worry, I'm only going to do like 3.5. But before we go on, Mrs. Letterman, I just want to be clear. I am not saying that Andrews Academy is Babylon, because that's where the Hebrews, but that's not where I'm going. I love Andrews Academy. You should go. I went there. It was great. But you and I would be naive to think that just because you may wear an Andrews Academy logo on your shirt next year or wherever you go, that Satan isn't trying to attack you. And so as we go through, let's go ahead and just jump into the first one. Parallel number 1. Just like the Hebrews, you will be removed from a familiar environment. You've been at Village Adventist Elementary School for a number of years, and it's become home to you. It's become family to you. And then in the past couple of years, I've gone through Village, and it's been home to me. And so I've been sitting where you're sitting. And as you go on to wherever you are, whether it's Andrews Academy, Great Lakes Public School, wherever you go, you're going to be exposed to a new environment and a new set of circumstances. And it will not be captivity, even though you may think so, but it will be new and perhaps a little bit uncomfortable at first. And you're no longer going to be at the top of the food chain as 8th graders. You're going to be going at the bottom as freshmen. And that can be a little bit scary. I remember when I went, I remember looking at, I remember thinking in 8th grade that I was awesome. And then I went to 9th grade and I realized that everyone was a foot taller than me. And it was a problem. And so I know what it's like to be a little bit uncomfortable with the feeling that you may have in just a little while. But not only will you be removed from a familiar environment, but parallel number 2, just like the Hebrews, you will try to find identity. High school is a time of trying to figure out who you are and what you stand for, who you relate to. And Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, their Hebrew names, we know some of the rest of them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Well, those were names that were given to them by the Babylonians. And that was to get them not remembering their past, not remembering where they came from. They were trying to get them to become part of a culture that was not their own. And so they were struggling with some identity things. And you may, in high school, you may wonder, who am I? What group am I a part of? And where do I fit in? And I just want to tell you right off that you are children of God. You're created in His image. And don't let somebody tell you that you're someone other than who God says you are. And so when you go on to high school, remember that you're His child. And no matter what experiences you encounter, that's who you are. And here we go, parallel number 3. I told you we got 3.5, so we're going quick. Unfortunately, this one is going to be the one I want to focus on. So this might take a little bit longer. but you are going to experience huge tests of character that may seem small. I'm going to make a bold statement right here, and the bold statement is this. In the book of Daniel, the most important story that Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the biggest and most important story in the entire book is not them going to the fiery furnace. It's not Daniel standing up and interpreting the king's dreams. It's not Daniel being thrown before lions. But rather, the most important story in the book of Daniel is where Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah decided that instead of eating the king's food, they would eat vegetables and drink water. Now, you know me that I really don't like sweets, and I'm all for vegetables, and so, but this is more than just a health thing. Even though in the Mr. Davison version of this, they're actually eating broccoli and drinking carrot juice, that's what the Hebrew boys did, in case you didn't know. But as much as I would like to think that it is about those things, it's really not merely just health. While that is important, and it definitely played a factor in the story, it was about way more than that. This was about worship, whether it may seem so or not. Would Daniel and his friends, would they rely on their new environment, their new circumstances, their new king, or would they rely on the power and deliverance of the King of Kings? This is the same question that Daniel and his friends faced when they were in front of the furnace, when they were in front of lions, but first, before they experienced it there, they experienced it before a plate. I want to read a few passages, and you're gonna see these up on the screen. But there are a few passages from Prophets and Kings where Ellen White dives into this story, and she brings out some really, really awesome stuff. And here's what she says: had Daniel so desired, he might have found in his surroundings a plausible excuse from departing from strict temperate habits. He might have argued that, dependent as he was on the king's favor and subject to his power, that there was no other course for him than to pursue than to eat of the king's food and drink of his wine. For should he adhere to the divine teaching, should he follow God, he might offend the king and probably lose his position or his life. Should he disregard the commandment of the Lord that he would retain the favor of the king and secure for himself intellectual advantages and flattering worldly prospects, Daniel and his friends had a decision to make, and the circumstances pointed in the direction of, well, let's just go along with it. What could it hurt? Could have been easy for Daniel and his friends to rationalize and say, you know what? It's only food. It's not that big of a deal. But Daniel and his friends did something else. Daniel chapter 1, verse 8 says this: but Daniel purposed in his heart, made a decision ahead of time, purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine with which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. And here I want to pose to you a what if. What if they would have compromised at this one point? What if they would have said, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and eat some of the food, drink some of the king's drink. Let's not make a big deal about this. Let's go ahead and not follow the way that we were brought up. What would have happened? Well, Ellen White goes into it. She says, should they compromise with wrong in this instance by yielding to the pressure of circumstances? Remember, their circumstances change, just like yours will. Their departure from principle would weaken their sense of right and their abhorrence of wrong. The first wrong step would lead to others until their connection with heaven was severed, and they would be swept away by temptation. This was the first step. Now, time out real quick. You may be saying to yourself, Mr. Davison, I'm not perfect. I've made a misstep along the way. I've taken wrong steps before. How can I do what you're saying? But let's go ahead and look at our final bonus parallel. I told you I had 3.5. Well, here's a fourth one. Just like the Hebrews, the way you can do it is that God will be with you every step of the way. Ellen White goes on to write, as the Lord cooperated with Daniel and his fellows, so he will cooperate with all who strive to do his will. And by the impartation, by the giving of his Spirit, he will strengthen every true purpose, every noble resolution. And those who walk in the path of obedience will encounter many hindrances. It won't be easy. But strong and subtle influences may bind them to the world, but, here's what I like this part here. But the Lord is able to render futile every agency that works for the defeat of his chosen ones. In his strength, they may overcome every temptation and conquer every difficulty. God has provided the way for you to overcome, and he will be with you every step of the way. Back to my bold statement at the beginning. The biggest and most important story in the book of Daniel is in Daniel chapter 1, before the king's plate. And why, you might ask? Because without it, Daniel chapter 3, with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, it doesn't happen. Without Daniel chapter 1, Daniel in the lion's den doesn't happen, because Daniel and his friends would not have been practicing in the small things in order to face the big things. And as God called Daniel to witness for him in Babylon, so he calls us, that's you, to be his witnesses in the world today. In the smallest as well as in the largest affairs of life, he desires us to reveal to men and women the principles of his kingdom. Many are waiting for some great work to be brought to them, while daily they lose opportunities for revealing faithfulness to God. Daily they fail of discharging with wholeheartedness the little duties of life, while they wait for some large work in which they may exercise their supposedly great talents, and thus satisfy their ambitious longings. Their days pass away. I want to encourage you in all of the little things that you may encounter, things that where it may seem, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Daniel, does it really matter that we have to eat vegetables and drink water? Why can't we just eat from the king's plate? In those little moments, you begin to build up the habit of following God and following after him in his example. And remember, he did it first, and he will be with you wherever you go. To finish off, I want to show you an example of something that happened 4 years ago. All right, 4 years ago, I'm going to show you a video. And for those of you who know, I like to play sports, and I like basketball. And so this is going to be a basketball reference, but we're going to tie it in. Okay, we're going to tie it in. So we're going to play a video, and some of you may recognize it right away. And if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, I am sorry.
So the Spurs foul. Cincinnati go for the three-ball. Just attack the basket. James touches, puts up the three. One go. Rebound box. Back out to Taylor. History three-pointer. Tie the game with 5 seconds remaining. Spurs do not have a timeout. But the officials are going to review to see if the foul was behind the line. Chris Bosh with a huge offensive rebound. And now instant replay, enormous.
And Mike Tim Duncan out of the game leads to the second shot, and clearly a three-point shot.
They confirmed that it was a three. And the Spurs had a chance to talk this over.
All right. For those who do not know, that was Ray Allen making a game-tying three-point shot in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. LeBron James had just missed a shot. Sorry for those of you who like LeBron James. Sorry, Mr. Martin. But The rebound happened, and without even thinking, Ray Allen backpedaled, ran back to the three-point line, did not even look at his feet, caught the pass, and made the shot. And some of you may think to yourself, wow, that's a really big moment. It's probably the biggest shot he'll ever shoot, and he's one of the NBA greats at shooting. But before he could take that shot, before he was in that situation, he practiced it. He practiced it in smaller situations, not in the NBA Finals. I want to read to you a passage from a guy from Sports Illustrated. His name is Jenkins, and he went back and looked at this play. And he says this: as a young player in Milwaukee, Allen invented a drill in which he lies in the key, that's like right underneath the basket. He springs to his feet and backpedals to the corner. A coach throws him a pass, and he has to catch and shoot without stepping on the three-point line or the sideline. In Allen's first training session with the Heat, just after Labor Day in 2012, he performed the drill. It was the first time I ever saw anybody do that, Spoelstra says, his head coach there in the Miami Heat. He told me that he does it for offensive rebounding purposes. He says, you never know when you'll be in a situation where you have to find the three-point line without looking down. He practiced that shot over and over again in practice before he saw it in real life. Here's how that applies to us today. Before the big moments, before the times when you have to stand before lions, before you have to stand before the fiery furnace and kings, you may have to stand before a plate over and over again. But God provides us with the willpower and provides us with the ability to make sure that we are able to overcome each and every time we're faced with those small situations. You will find yourself in unfamiliar situations, we said that before. Circumstances where you may be trying to figure out who you are in high school. You may be unsure of where you stand in your new environment. But I want to challenge you right now to practice the little things. Practice like Daniel and his friends, relying on God. Spend time with him and spend time in prayer. Perhaps you will encounter furnaces, lions, and kings ahead. But before you get there, I want to challenge you to purpose in your heart to rely on God, and you'll find out that he will be with you every step of the way. Thank you.
Good evening. It is my privilege this evening to recognize our graduates in two different areas. One area is in how long they have been a part of the Village School family, and another is an academic, the Presidential Academic Award. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you to all of our parents and grandparents that have sacrificed. I hope that on an evening like this evening, when you come and you witness and you see how your children have been blessed to be in the presence of spiritual leaders like the ones you see up front here today, that you had the evidence you need that sacrifice was well worth it, to have them be a part of the Village School family. We know it is a sacrifice on your part, and we just want to say thank you for partnering with Village School as we help to raise your students to love Jesus even more and more with each passing year. I always want to say thank you to our Village Church as well. You know, it was over 100 years ago that a group of leaders in this church decided to raise up a school, and that's why we're here today. Our Village Church always comes alongside us, and each year there is some challenge. This year we were low on enrollment, and our Village Church came alongside us and helped to raise funds to do all of the things that we do in every great school year and to continue to offer the great education that we do. So thank you, Village Church family, as well. I'm going to go ahead and recognize our graduates that have been at the Village School for the past 8 years. And we have 3 of them this year. I'm going to call their name. If you'll hold your applause till the end. Students, I'm going to have you stand and turn around and face the audience when I call your name. We have Carlo Leonore, Brooke Scott, and Sebastian Wade that have been with us for 8 years. Thank you. And we have 4 students that have been with us for 9 years. So they've been with us from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. Please stand and face the audience. We have Daniel Cruz, Sarah Hamstra, Blake Shelley, and Kaylee Swackhammer. The Presidential Award is an award given for academics. It is a combination of a high GPA and doing very well on the Iowa standardized tests that we take at Village School. So the students that receive this award have done very well in both of those areas. I'm going to go ahead and call your name. When I call your name, you can come up. I'll hand you your award and a pin, and then I have a message to read to you. Zoe Drew. Sarah Hamstra. Ian Hildebrandt. Carlo Leonore. Ethan Lubert. Bethany Madel. And Sophia Udry. The following letter is from President Trump. I am pleased to extend greetings to your entire school as you gather to congratulate the winners of the President's Education Award. Education is a lifelong pursuit and offers countless rewards for those who strive for knowledge and work hard to achieve success. By setting high standards for yourself, by making the most of your educational opportunities, and by diligently working to reach your goals, you are well on your way toward realizing these rewards. I commend you for your academic and civic achievements and hope you will continue to pursue your educational goals. Your community and your country are counting on you. Melania joins me in wishing you continued success as we share the pride of your parents, teachers, and friends. Sincerely, President Trump.
Mrs. Baldwin, Mr. Martin, thank you for allowing me to be here today. I'm here as a representative of Andrews Academy, and I come bearing 3 scholarships. But honestly, after listening to the special music and hearing the parent tributes, I feel I should have brought more. You are a talented class. What touched me and warms my heart the most, I think, graduates, and this goes to the parents and to this church community as well, this partnership, is what I heard over and over again is, thank you, Mom and Dad, for instilling in me a love for Christ and for helping me to maintain this relationship with Him. So at Andrews Academy, we want to say that we want to take the baton, as you would, and continue that, what you have started here. And so on behalf of Andrews Academy, I have 3 $500 scholarships. And it says here, the scholarship is for the 2017-18 school year in the amount of $500 in recognition of your achievements. I'm going to read all 3 names, and if you'll come up and I'll present them to you. The first one goes to Zoe Drew. Sarah Hamstra. and Sophia Udry. Congratulations. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mr. Bush, sorry.
Mrs. Baldwin, it's my privilege to present the graduating class of 2017. Each graduate receiving a diploma this evening has successfully completed all requirements established by the Michigan Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Graduates, when your name is called, please come forward and receive your diploma. Ethan Lubert. Zoe Drew. Giancarlo Leonor. Anna Johnson. Daniel Cruz. Brooke Scott. Jerry Taylor. Sophia Udry. Josiah Morrow. Lene Shaver. James Gitzel. They're somewhere. Bethany Maydall. Eli Wilson. Aaron Troutwine. Ian Hildebrandt. Sarah Hamstra. Nicholas Straw. Sebastian Wade. Nice job. Rosa Ramos. Kaylee Swackhammer. Blake Shelley.
Parents, family members, and friends, thank you so much for coming to our graduation. We had an amazing time this year, and we thank all of you for it. Can you please stand for prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for supporting us through these stressful times we have gone through, and for keeping us sane through all of the tests and homework. Please bless the people that have helped us through the years, and those we have helped. May our hearts and lives reflect your power. Help keep us strong in faith and help make us make the correct decisions. May the Lord's blessings be with all of us as we find our new journey. Please help us walk safely as we follow our paths. Please allow this graduation to be remembered as the day we celebrate the end of our elementary lives. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.